Hey writers, I hope you're in your writing spot, wherever that may be, wherever you found yesterday, on the floor, in a comfy chair, at a desk or a table, maybe under a table, who knows, right? Wherever you know that you'll do your best writing. Because today I want to talk about another way. I want to review some of the things we talked about last week, right? And thinking about the writing process and what good writers do in order to think about an idea for a story. And I actually want to teach you one more way that if you're trying to think of an idea for a story, something you can think about, right? So remember when we talked about thinking about topics for stories in our lives, we talked about one strategy being we can think about special people or people we love in our life, right? And then list small moments that we had with those people in order to inspire a story idea. We also talked about places in our lives, especially now, maybe being our homes and our backyards, or thinking about places that we love, like the beach or a lake or a playground, and using that strategy to, again, think about small moments or memories that we had at those places. And then once we have that idea, we have that memory, we touch and tell across the pages. Or if you're in grades 3 through 5, you may be doing a timeline to plan out your story. And then storytelling that story. We didn't talk about that this much last week. And so today I'm going to kind of model that with my story to really, if we can story tell it first, it's so much easier to then get it on the page and to draw and write the words, right? So one more strategy I want to teach you for generating topics is to think about a time when you had a strong feeling, right? And so that feeling could be positive. It could be a time when you were super happy or excited or surprised, right? Or it could be a feeling that's kind of crummy, like a time you felt really mad or jealous or sad, right? A lot of times, if we can think about a time we had a strong feeling, it's going to lead us to think about that memory and think about that time when we had that strong feeling, right? Again, to inspire a story idea for us to then be able to story tell that story and then draw or write it. So let me show you how I did that in my notebook, right? Just like I had a list for people and places. And again, your list might be in sketches, it might be in pictures. You may tell your list to a family member or a caregiver, and they may write it down for you. So I was thinking about a time when I felt really helpful, right? So my strong feeling is helpful. So I wrote that at the top. And then I listed some memories or small moments that I felt really helpful. So, for example, my daughter Kyle, she's learning to ride her bike. And so, a time when I felt really helpful is when I'm helping her learn to ride her bike and I'm holding the back of the bike and I'm chasing her down the street as she kind of wiggles and wobbles and really tries to learn to ride her bike without training wheels. Another time that I felt really helpful is we moved our TVs. So, we had a TV in the basement and a TV upstairs, and we wanted to swap the TVs. And so, my husband, Chris, wanted me to help him move that TV. And at first I was like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to lift and move this TV. But I did. And I felt super helpful because, again, we can't have anybody come in our house and help us out. So I was able to do that. And I felt really, really helpful and really strong. So that's another time that I remember in my life pretty recently. And then another time that I remember that I felt really helpful is when we picked up some trash around our neighborhood and our neighborhood streets on our normal walk. We spent some time, even though it wasn't our intention originally to pick up trash, but we ended up doing a really good job in picking up some trash around my neighborhood. So just see how I did that? I used the strategy. Again, I'm thinking about a topic, like what am I going to write about today? So again, you may have an idea and you may come to an idea super quick, but if you're not coming to ideas for stories really quickly, I want you to think about these 3 strategies, right? And so today I just kind of walked you through like thinking about a time when you had a strong feeling, like I did, thinking about a time when I felt helpful. And then step 2, listing small moments that remind me of that time when I felt helpful. So these are 3 examples of times when I did feel helpful. And then my next step would be to touch and tell across the pages, like I showed you with my turtle story, or story tell it, right? And so storytelling is something when you really go back in your memory and you tell it like you want to write it. So I don't just say, there was this time when I picked up trash with my kids, right? That's not how I want to write it down. It's not how I want to tell it in my book to really engage my reader. So I want to really think about and talk it out and story tell it how I want to write it, right? So let me give that a go with finding trash. So I might say something like, it was an ordinary day and we were going on our usual walk around our neighborhood. We were just at the top of the street where we were about to take a right onto the main road when Harrison said, "Mom, look at all that trash." I glanced over behind the bus stop bench, and there, laying in the grass, was a large Dunkin' Donuts cup, a candy wrapper, and a plastic bag. "Ew, gross," I said to Harrison and Kyle. I immediately thought to myself, like, how are we going to clean this up? So I quickly grabbed the plastic bag and I began putting the trash that surrounded the plastic bag into the plastic bag. And I said, "Guys, let's clean up the trash, right? I bet there's more trash that we're going to find on our walk." So Harrison said, "We need to get a trash bag." So we raced down our dead end street, dashed into the house, grabbed a plastic bag, found some gloves, and then set off on our journey to clean up the trash. Did you see how I did that? I didn't just say, we took a walk, we found trash, we cleaned it up, the end, right? That's not going to be very exciting for my reader. So I want to story tell it first, right? Or touch and tell and story tell across the pages, or story tell as I'm doing my timeline before I draw and write my story. Right? So writers, today I wanted you to do that. If you have a topic, get going, right? If you already have a memory that you want to write about, I want you to jump right here to storytelling. If you're struggling with the topic today, right? I want you to think about our 3 strategies and see if that helps with coming up with a topic idea. Then I want you to think about a time when, or a small moment with either that person or in that place, or that time you had that strong feeling. And then today I really want you to story tell, right? If a family member is available, you can story tell it to them, grab a stuffy, talk into your phone, whatever you want to do, but story tell it, get it out in the air, and then give it a go with drawing and writing that story. Okay? Good luck. You're going to do amazing. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Bye, writers.